Obviously, with Darren likely down for Sunday, as Dave's told us this morning, how does that change your perspective going into the weekend?
I mean, you always got to be ready. Of course, Darren's just going to be the same leader that he always is and help us continue to be better players. And I just got to stay ready and be ready, and we always are.
Does that mean less blocking and more pass catching?
I mean, it means what it is. It's just whatever the game plan is just to keep whatever it could be either. But, just be ready for both.
What have you seen from what the Raiders like to do defensively? And I would imagine at some point you may be out there on the edge trying to hold down MAXX.
Yeah, they run everything through 98. He's a heck of a player, and we got a good game plan for him and for the defense, and we just got to be ready for him.
Because like Tom said, the idea that you are an integral part of the running game in addition to the passing game. When you guys have the kind of running game you had in the second half of last week with Saquon, I know obviously the end is not what you wanted, but how much pride do you take in the fact that you guys were able to run the ball the way you did, and can that carry over to this week?
Yeah, it's been a big focus for us to keep improving in all areas, especially run blocking. Of course, with guys kind of moved around with the O-line and stuff, it was definitely felt good to get it going, just moving guys off the ball. And, it's something we've been emphasizing, since training camp. So it feels good to try to get that thing going.
With Daniel back, does that open up the amount of stuff you can do?
Yeah, I mean, DJ being back is fantastic. We're excited to have him back, and brings that leadership that we love, and definitely excited to have him and continue to grow off stuff that we did when he was back before.
Do you have to remind him to duck occasionally, in the sense of get down when he has to get down?
Yeah, I mean, I think he knows that, and he'd be ready for that.
When you look at the role you've played this year, I mean, obviously, tight end as the traditional tight end, but it always seemed like there are two different roles, or at least two, on this offense for the tight ends. Darren plays differently than you do. How different has your role this year been compared to last year?
Yeah, it was definitely different. Last year kind of had to be ready for both, and then bringing in such a talented guy like Darren, of course we're trying to get him the ball because of what he can do with the ball, and so it's been a little bit different, but at the same time it's just been keep my head locked in on what I need to do whenever they ask me to do.
So does that role expand, do you think, a little bit this weekend, and maybe you do a little bit more than what you've been doing in the passing game?
I think so. Like I said, just kind of being ready for whatever they ask me to do.
Is there a sense among the receiver group when you look at the stats from last week and you go -9 net yards? I mean, are you incredulous, or is it like we just got to be better?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't draw it up that way. We want to be better as a group and as individuals. And it's just stuff plays out sometimes. Obviously, you don't want to make any excuses, but weather was a problem. Tyrod going down. There was definitely a lot of things that didn't go our way. And we just got to be better.
You mentioned the idea of going back home. I mean, growing up, you didn't have a team in Vegas, right? I mean, they hadn't been there. So what's that like now for you to know that there's a team, back there that, you've got people who I'm sure back then. I mean, I would think you'd want them to vote to root for the Giants, but right. They got a hometown team now.
No, yeah, it was definitely different when the Raiders came. Of course, we got the hockey team, and they're trying to bring a baseball team, so it's definitely growing a lot when it comes to sports over there, and I think it's exciting. It definitely brings a lot of different people to Vegas, and my family will always be fans of me, so that'll be good.
Where have you been? I mean, I know you've seen the stadium from the outside. Have you been in the stadium?
Yeah, no, we played UNLV in college in there, so I've been in there a couple times, and it's definitely a cool stadium.
So how did you do in that homecoming?
I actually was a little banged up, so I only had a few plays during that. But again, it's always good to see family. So,
is that stadium hot, or is it air conditioned, or what?
They keep it pretty cool. Vegas can get pretty hot. It's even now still a little warm there, so they keep it pretty cool there.
Best spot on the Strip? Where you like? I know you guys won't be there. You're staying away, but where?
I mean, the Strip is. The Strip, the Little Caesars and all that is a pretty good spot. I always try to stay away from the Strip, but it's a fun little area.
So if you're going out there to be a tourist this weekend, Where do you what do you suggest for people?
Yeah, I'd probably go to like the Bellagio or something. Get on the tables a little bit, but that's about it.
Don't watch the water fountains.
No.
How big is your group coming this weekend?
I got about 25 people, so it'll be friends and family, so it'll be big. And then I got some old coaches and old teammates that'll be coming too, so it'll be a lot.
Did you ever think that when you were growing up that they would ever get a team in Vegas?
No, it was definitely, obviously there were teams in Oakland and in California, so it was just like they were just kind of rooted for the California teams whenever was close to us, and didn't think that definitely not as many sports teams as there are now, so that's definitely new.
You laugh when people react the way they do with Las Vegas when you're from there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's always, I always get the Strip questions, like how's the Strip? Everything's at the Strip. And, I grew up there and I maybe went to the Strip like 3 or 4 times my whole life. So it's definitely a different perspective being from Vegas than when people come visit Vegas.
It struck me that a year ago you were dealing with something that was horrific.
Right. Yeah.
Does it feel as though it's been a year since you had to deal with that?
It's kind of crazy because with the rain and stuff, this last game I actually had to take the visor off the second half of the game, and it was the first time since my injury. So it was just kind of a different feeling, and definitely was in the back of my head like it's kind of crazy that happened a year ago, and now it's like didn't even happen almost. But at the same time, it's like it was crazy how it happened, and so it's definitely something I thought about, but went away quickly after that.
Kayvon was talking about motivation, finding individual motivation when a team's down to try to motivate teammates. For you individually, is there a motivation over these last 9 games to kind of pick your game up? I mean, especially now Darren out and the idea of fire guys.
Absolutely. I think every player wants to be a better version of themselves than they were the week before. And especially now, it's like, what can you control when everything's going on? It's like what you control is how you play and the things that you do, and to make sure you do your job the best. And that's the best thing you can do now to help the team.
If anything, as a rookie, you realized what the highs of the highs in this league, right? You guys go unexpectedly to the playoffs, you win 10 games, and now year 2, you're kind of realizing the other end of it, the grind. How do you kind of make sense of that whole thing?
Yeah, it's definitely, you can get really up in this league, get really low in this league. I think the best thing that I try to do is just try to stay consistent. It's keep growing, keep doing the small things, keep doing the recovery things. And, guys like DJ and Darren are great examples of helping us. Like, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You got to kind of stay in the middle and stay consistent, whether it's going good or going bad.